What is up, Gamer Army? Welcome back to PsykoGamer. I am your host, Aubrey, and today we are going to go over a brand new cabinet that probably every single one of the streamers and YouTubers that are out there are actually talking about right now. We are talking about a new cabinet by Arcade1up called NBA Jam. I know we've never seen this title before, not in 2 or 3 different iterations at all, but this one is new. It actually has a little bit of a twist. One that we haven't seen in one of their main cabinets before, unless you count something like a countercade. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Stick around until the end of the video so you can soak up all that knowledge that I'm going to give you. And stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Like I said, we are going to go over the newly announced, unveiled, pre-orderable NBA Jam. Now, like I said, you're going to have a lot of other YouTubers and streamers talking about this particular cabinet, especially anybody who's talking about the Arcade1up cabinets just in general. So, NBA Jam has been out for a number of years. They had a regular version. They had the XL version, the XL Shack edition, I guess you could say. And now you have the actual deluxe 2-player cabinet. Now, what makes this unique is the fact that it is actually a 2-player cabinet as opposed to your 4 players that the previous versions actually were released with. So we're not just talking about the full arcade version. We are talking about the Arcade1up NBA Jam 4-player and the Shack XL edition. Now, that one had a very big screen. Now, for $100 more, you can go ahead and still order the actual Shack edition. I believe it's only going for $600. Whereas this new one is going for $499.99. And where can you get that? Well, you can go slide on over to bestbuy.com or over to the Amazon. Yes, the Amazon, where you actually can pick this particular cabinet up. Now, like I said, just like any of my other videos, we are going to do this in-depth look, as we always do. Now, we always start with the pictures. So the pictures are always awesome. You got the NBA logo there, and you have the sides that look like an actual basketball, which is pretty much how the other cabinets have actually looked. Now, one thing that I'm noticing about this is a little thinner than your previous models. A little thinner than its predecessors. So that's one thing that will allow you to actually put this in your house and not take up as much room as some of the other ones there. As you can tell, they're kind of going with their standard look when it comes to their cabinets. Kind of using this for like your Street Fighters and pretty much anything else that you're looking at there as well. You got your 3D printed coin door. You have this new little lip on the very front right here. So I think one thing that's cool about that is, well, it kind of allows you to put your foot on something while you're actually playing, and it runs less of a risk of it actually tipping over unless you have kind of a thick type of a carpet. So hopefully you don't have a really thick carpet where it's going to, wobble. Then unfortunately you kind of have to use those anchors that they tend to send out with these so you can anchor it to the actual wall itself. So you got your NBA Jam session on the side of the actual control deck, and you have your standard NBA Jam marquee at the top, which from what I've seen from the email and everything else, this is going to be a backlit one, just like any of the more recent cabinets that Arcade1up has been releasing. You are going to get your same 3 titles that have come with the previous iterations. You get your regular NBA Jam, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and NBA Hang Time. Now, obviously, the question is whether they're going to get the rights to any more of the players that were already here. I'm doubting it. It's most likely going to contain the exact same rosters as they had with the previous versions of NBA Jam. So you got the front face, you got the orange trim all the way around, which is nice. It kind of makes it pop out a little bit. just kind of plain black right here, which is perfectly fine. One reason why you really don't want to have a lot of colors and paint and everything is because once people actually start hitting it with their foot, so that little kick plate, I mean, if they put like maybe a something that might look like asphalt or something right there, that would be kind of cool. Um, it would start chipping away at the actual paint job or at the actual vinyl they would be using to put on this. As you're seeing right here, 61.5 inches, 18.4 inches deep. Now that is including your little kick plate right here too. So if you took that away, you're probably looking at about maybe about 18 inches just in general, and 18.5 inches wide, which is kind of on par with most of your Arcade1up cabinets these days, especially when you're looking at your 2 players. If it was 4 players, obviously the control deck would be much larger, but 2 players, you don't need it to have it that big. Here's another shot of the front. Another 45-degree angle. Looks exactly like the other side. No real big differences here. Full on side look. You can actually see all the little spots where you're actually going to screw this thing together. So you got a bunch of different screw pointers there. So probably about 10 or 12 of those. And the opposite side is, well, it's exactly the same. And now we get to take a straight down look at the actual control deck. Got your player 1, you got your player 2. You got block, pastille, turbo. You got it on both sides. You got your on-off. You got your volume control, player 1, player 2, again. And you got your live button, which will allow you to play games online and partake in leaderboards. And the box actually looks a little cleaner. I actually like the look of this box more than your previous ones. It's not as stale. It seems like it's a little brighter and a little bit more vibrant than the previous ones that we've seen. And we're back to the beginning again. So we're going to see what we're looking at here. We got the items going to be released on August 8th, 2024. So you got a little over a month to go ahead and get it pre-ordered so you can add it to your own home arcades or sit on it and hopefully, you know, it might actually go up in value. But these aren't like your typical video games. These really aren't going to go up in value, at least in my opinion. If they do, they might be like your Marvel vs. Capcom 2s, your 1s, you know, any of the fighting games that they've released, even Big Blue by Arcade1up. I don't even want to say it's going to really hold its value, but it's going to be a little bit harder to get for some people. Step onto the court and experience the ultimate slam dunk of nostalgia with Arcade1up's NBA Jam 2-player Deluxe arcade machine. Prepare for an adrenaline-fueled journey through hoops history as you relive the glory days of arcade gaming. With NBA Jam Tournament Edition, or you heard it called TE, and NBA Hang Time, all packed into one sleek cabinet. The action never stops. Now here's where we go into a little more information on the actual cabinet itself. Not just a pretty face, this machine boasts a stunning light-up marquee and a 3D faux molded coin door. Faux. I love that word. That will make every gaming session feel like a championship match. Dual speakers deliver dynamic sound, which are typically right up here at the very top. While the crisp 17-inch BOE color monitor brings the action to life in vivid detail. Now that's pretty much the best monitor that Arcade1up has actually been using. It is bright, it's vibrant, it's crisp, just like they said. And it's really the one screen that everybody wants in their newer cabinet. So typically when John D was around, they were doing Q&As. That was one of the first questions that was asked. Is this a BOE monitor? And, or Bowie, however you want to call it. Because people really knew how these looked and the kind of quality they were. It was probably the best quality of most of the cabinets that you're looking at to begin with. Lastly, challenge friends and foes alike with the built-in Wi-Fi, supporting online multiplayer for up to 4 players instead of, 8, which you couldn't really do anyway. It was typically 4 players. Supporting online multiplayer for up to 4 players with the ability to lock any game with a code, so only you and your friends with the code can play. You don't have people just kind of jumping in if you don't want to have people to jump in. But wait, there's more. We've taken the arcade experience to the next level with our newest feature, a slimmer, lighter design that makes this deluxe edition even more irresistible. I think that can be a good thing, but I also think it can be a bad thing all at the same time. Why do I think it could be a bad thing? Well, it's going to kind of stand out a little differently from all of your other Arcade1up cabinets. Now, if they had been released in this thin from the get-go, from the beginning, then yeah, I think it would be fine. But now that they're releasing cabinets more with this look and feel, I think it's going to feel a little out of place. Unless you're putting in a man cave next to, say, NFL Blitz and you have your NBA Jam on opposite sides of the room, they're really not going to stand out in terms of comparison and contrast and how it's going to look. Standing over 5 feet tall, this arcade masterpiece is the centerpiece your game room deserves. Whether you're a diehard fan or a newcomer to the world of arcade classics, NBA Jam 2-player Deluxe Edition arcade machine is your ticket to endless fun. Get ready to dominate the court like never before. And the information they've got on here, obviously you got your Wi-Fi online multiplayer, you got your leaderboards, your sleek cabinet design, 2-player control panel, you got that light up marquee, you got the 3D molded doors, you got the dual speakers, and you got that 17-inch BOE monitor. Over 5 feet tall, you don't have to have a riser anymore. And you have the 3 classic games. And these are the dimensions. I don't necessarily need to go over it, but it's going to come with obviously the cabinet, the AC adapter, the anti-tip over strap, plug covers for the side screw holes. You got to build it, obviously. Recommended age, 14 plus, and it's got your volume controls. And when you scroll down a little more on the actual Arcade1up website, they're going to emphasize on some of their main features like your Wi-Fi, your cabinet, light up marquee. A little bit closer look of the actual screen itself. Your 3 games. They do have a little video, which I'm not going to go and play because I don't know if it's got copyrighted music. All you can say is, oh my, he's on fire. And then they're talking about their app, which I think this is talking about obviously your other NBA Jam games, which have gotten really good reviews. NBA Jam has been very popular when it comes to it getting released. So I don't have NBA Jam. I wanted to get the old NBA Jam, but at the end of the day, I really don't have that much room, and it comes down to finances. If I was able to buy every single one that I really wanted, I'd have to have bought a big garage for myself and just load it up with these arcade machines. Of course, if I had that, I would probably looking at getting the full-size roll cabinets in that case. These would be good accessory to put in a small house like this one if you got a couple of them. But I know a lot of people have really gotten into collecting these. Now, I know I've released a couple of videos recently asking, what's going on with Arcade1up? Are they still going to keep releasing cabinets? Are they going out of business? Is there potential for them to be purchased by other companies? Which there's always going to be that potential, but the question is whether they're looking to sell. Now, I think we've been spoiled in the past from, the previous John D being there, because he did release a lot of information to us, some of it a little earlier than what they were hoping for. The issue that we have with Arcade1up now is they literally are releasing no news, no information. We're going to get an email saying when a new cabinet comes out or when it's about to come out, such as NBA Jam. I got the email earlier today, and that's how I found out about it, as well as a couple people messaging me, telling me, hey, check this out. A new cabinet. Maybe Arcade1up's not going out of business. Maybe Arcade1up's not up for sale. So it still does make me wonder what is going through their minds when they're re-releasing another cabinet. Granted, NBA Jam was probably one of their more popular cabinets that was not a Pac-Man or a Street Fighter game, but they could release more titles. Maybe this is just a feeler to see how these new design cabinets are actually going to work when it comes to the public. So what do you guys think? Post down below. Give me your thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about these new design cabinets. I know that there was a leak a while back with one of the other leaks that never came out, but they had a very similar design to what we're looking at right here. So again, I thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you check out my other channel. Just look up my full name, Aubrey McMullen. It's mostly talking about YouTube creation, content creation. I'm also talking about equipment, like the microphones, like the actual camera you're seeing right here as well as a couple of other things. So if you do like that content, go check it out. I'll have it down in the description below so you guys can go check that out. But until next time, guys, again, I appreciate you coming in and checking out the video. Game on.